Hey everybody, and welcome back to the arena. So I was playing the Friday Night Magic at Home event last night with the Mastermind deck, and my second win snatched me this great little mythic upgrade of the Garruk Planeswalker. And it really got me thinking about how my collection has grown over the last roughly 2 years that I've been playing Arena. And while you may not have a Garruk, we're going to talk today about how to make the best of your green collection, starting from the new player experience, and how to focus that in decks, not only in standard, but also for historic Brawl. That's right, the next Friday Night Magic at Home event is going to be Historic Brawl, and if I have anything to do with it, you're going to be ready for it. And, well, here we go. So the mono green deck that we start with is the Large and in Charge deck. It mostly focuses on, as advertised, large green creatures and beat down from that. And of course, a staple of the green color pie right now is the fight effect, getting double duty out of those large green monsters by also using them as a pseudo removal. What you see here is the before and after of the Large and in Charge and what I have dubbed as the Mean Green deck. Basically just using other cards within your new player experience library and trying to take this deck up a notch and giving it a little higher win condition, and helping you stick a few more wins under your belt as quickly as possible. First thing I'd like to talk about is the idea of a 24-25 land deck in a best of one environment. Really, I think a 23 land deck, especially in monocolor, is really all you'd ever need. Here, in fact, I have cut back to 22 lands. This being a green deck, you're going to have some alternative methods of generating mana. Secondly, if you look at the curve here in the top deck, you see a relatively bumpy back and forth, no real smoothed out curve. And what I tried to do was focus on smoothing the 1 through 3 and 4 through 6 curves, giving them a little more weight towards the 3 and 6, where that heavy green mana investment is going to pay off best for you. I did this by adding ramp and card draw primarily in the 3-drop slot. Again, this focuses the shift from the 2 and 4 slot to the 3 and 6. Also, one thing I would do that you don't see reflected here, upon later consideration, I concluded that Primal Might is actually a better thing for us to have in a 1x slot than our Legendary Spider here in the 4-drop spot. Overall, I think that gives you a much more effective deck. I had originally gone with the Legendary Spider as a counter against blue decks, and to give you more options against flying in general, but upon playtest I found that the Primal Might was really a better finisher in most cases and much more of what you needed. So now that we have a much more effective mono green deck, let's talk for a minute about then elevating this deck into a historic or overall Brawl deck. This time, Wizards gave us a lot less legendary creatures to look at as commanders, but overall, I think Kogla is our best choice. Here, again, we have the starting point of the Large and in Charge deck, and from there, we will take a copy of this deck and begin to brew it as a Brawl deck around Kogla. Having used that clone function to create a clean workable copy of the deck, we just open it up, and first thing we want to do is change our format to the Brawl format. From there, we want to designate Kogla as our commander. And at this point, it really just becomes an issue of trimming away all of our secondary copies, because of course Brawl, you can only have one copy of each card in the deck. And in this case, with the new player experience library that I know that you have, it really just comes down to putting a single copy of every single card you have in your deck, with very few exceptions. You do have one beast that really only gets better in quantities. Otherwise, you're just getting a fairly vanilla creature for 4 mana. So I would trim away that. And there are a couple of cards that are very adventure focused, and ultimately our Brawl deck is not going to be heavily adventure focused. So there's just really not room in there for those cards. But as you can see, you end up with a very workable, and again, you have kind of a smoothing curve going to the 3 and 6 drop. Again, taking advantage of that green mana ramp and large mana contingencies that green tends to have, and allowing you to use those in a very conservative manner on the 3 and 6 drops. Now, of course, it is a historic Brawl event, but you don't really have any historic cards. So let's talk about a couple quick, simple, low wildcard impact upgrades that you could make. One, if you use the promo code Sparkle Druid, you will get a free copy and art upgrade for Druid of the Cowl. And I would also recommend considering an uncommon wild card for what you see here. It gives you a nice final punch, giving all of your creatures a +2/+2, and most importantly, trample to give you a big finish. The uncommon wild card, honestly, I think you will appreciate having this card in your collection for years to come, and will improve a possible red-green historic deck that we will be discussing later in the season. But for now, I think both of these are good options for you, and burning that one uncommon wild card is not an unusual thing at this juncture. So with that, be sure to enjoy the fruits of your recent new player experience upgrades from the renewal system. Enjoy the upcoming historic Brawl event for Friday Night Magic at Home. And until next time, I'll see you in the arena.